last impossible mission from that old geezer. That is Tommy.
Yeah, I can't wait till
Cruise.
the Tom Cruise produced Impossible Mission movies. Completely unrelated, where he plays Ethan Hunt.
He's going to die.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to, does he?
He wants to go to fucking space.
I think, like fast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, or for the first time to No Bubble Podcast. Hello, new subscribers that we've gathered and some new views. Hello.
Very
nice.
Hello.
I'm George, the really red, angry president that's now part of a biopic, I think, about America next year. Is Connor. I am a short man who runs funny, and I'm also got Tom Cruise as my icon. Banter. I'm George, and you know it's chilled, man. It's chilled. We're relaxed. We're on a conversation. I mean,
we're on a conference
before Connor got here. It's cool, man.
What were you doing? You were on a conference call.
I've got my dinner right here.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
No apologies. We talk about films, television, pop culture, anything that doesn't really mean anything on your journey towards death. That's us. That's what we do. How have you been, Connor? Or should I say, Mr. President?
Mr. President. Well, like my profile icon, I've wanted to smash things up lately. So when I saw this gorgeous thumbnail, I thought, yep, that's kind of me right now. No, it's a good icon as to how I've been over the last couple of days. But hey, that's not for this channel or for your lovely ears. So we're gonna like every week, I'm sort of catching up slowly with the trailers whilst the studio is getting set up tonight, shall I say. But the Hulk thumbnail, before I watched the trailer for Captain America Brave New World, sponsored by the NWO and Vince McMahon. This Red Hulk image that I'm using was leaked everywhere, so I knew there would be a little more Hulkage, shall I say? And it's looking damn good, man. Like Captain America's my guy. I was always Team Cap. I know this is a different Cap, quite literally, and it's a whole new, like the title, a whole new world, a brave new world that we're going to go into with Phase 5. Not that it's begun already. But I'm kind of pumped for this now. I'm kind of pumped for it.
Is it not Phase 6? Because I think Deadpool was the end of 5.
I mean, I thought Phase 5 hasn't ended, surely, hasn't it?
Yeah, because it started with Ant-Man, Quantumania.
I don't even know now. So the interweb. Oh no! So okay, going by this, Thunderbolts is the end of Phase 5, movie-wise. Thunderbolts. Yeah, so the last two movies in 2025, well, of Phase 5 will be next year, and then the next two, well, one for definite, one not likely to happen in the form of Mr. Wesley Snipes' Blade. No, Mahershala, sorry.
Blade's gone, man. Blade's gone. There's only going to be one Blade. Happy Deadpool Wolverine Day, Connor.
Wow. Today? Oh, what is it? Home Media Day?
It's all out on Disney Plus today.
Oh, brilliant. Cool. Excellent. That should have been our icon. Nice. No, cool. I didn't know that was today. I know the home media release. I feel like that's already been out. The physical media release?
They were doing pre-orders of that, so I think that's already been released. I've not picked it up yet because there was two different versions of the covers. One with Deadpool, one with Wolverine, obviously.
One with Wolverine. Yeah.
Same for the Steelbook. I'm just going to pick up a normal 4K version. Something that is getting, I already got an email notification from Zavi to pre-order the Steelbook version of the complete series of The Penguin.
Oh, I've already watched episode 1 still. But that'll be next week's. That'll be next week's project. I'll be watching more of The Penguin. I'm again, like Brave New World. I was quite chuffed with what I've seen of Colin Farrell thus far. Very cool.
I think I'm going to pick up the Blu-ray copy for like 20 quid. I mean, I would pay £45 for it. You know me, I'm a Steelbook whore. But I might just pick up the 20 release. The £20 Blu-ray one instead of the 4K one. The 4K, there's no artwork for either of them yet, which I don't think we're getting because it releases March the 17th is the date at the minute. So I'm sure after Christmas we might get a look at what the artwork's going to be like on that one. You watched the Brave New World trailer.
Yes.
You like it?
Literally.
I'm liking the look of everything that's coming Marvel-wise next year. It's nice that Deadpool and Wolverine was like the palette cleanser just to sort of be like, none of this matters. Let's just watch it and enjoy it. You've had some good shows, like you've had Agatha all along. That's, considering how unexcited we were for it because it came out 3 years too late. I'm really happy a lot of people have enjoyed it and liked it. It's something I'm catching up on at the minute. But I'm ready to get back into the world, man. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for some more shit. I'm ready to see Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Hell yeah. And
I'm ready for the win. See all the fucking Harrison Ford jokes and how miserable or unmiserable he is. They said, lose the mustache or lose the election. It's just a shame that, judging by real world events, that Brave New World might be more grounded in reality for America next year, and depending on what happens. But hey ho.
Well, oh dear. Maybe there will be some smashing next year, but not in the context that we're thinking of.
Yeah, well, especially when some tech billionaire bastards been hanging around with him a lot when he's meeting other world leaders. That's dangerous, very dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pasty Sheep account on Twitter was still on by this point next year, because the engagement wise isn't a lot, and also like I'm only still on there because I know more people, and that's how I communicate with a lot of people in terms of guests and stuff. And other than that, it's just drivel, and I don't really engage with it anymore. But social media, that's what you have to do. You have to try and get the audience. But, we're going up, so, maybe we don't need it. No one's fucking following it anyway. Follow this instead.
The audience will find us. Yeah. Follow us on StreamYard.
Have you watched, because I know we did the Disney Plus, like, here's everything Marvel coming. Have you seen the actual full-on everything Disney Plus in 2025 trailer?
Not every single. Snippets.
It was a ad I'm going to say at the start of. I don't know if it might just be on random things. Like, so I clicked on Deadpool and Wolverine earlier just to like watch the opening 5 minutes, and it had like a skippable thing. So Blind Owl introduces it, so it might be synonymous to that.
Oh,
and
okay.
It starts off with it confirms the Bear season 4. You get a better look at Skeleton Crew, the new Goosebumps with David Schwimmer, all that stuff. It's kind of like, oh yeah, maybe I'll keep Disney Plus for another year.
Yeah, until they remove out of the 10 programs they're now to remove 25 of the old bangers stealthily, and nothing can be done about it because we don't own it. Badoomtish.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that's why the more physical media, I might just buy it and get rid of Disney Plus. Who gives a fuck? Something that I wasn't expecting to be excited for, and you can tell by my thumbnail, is we got a new title and trailer for the final Mission Impossible film.
Oh,
discussed
God damn, we did. Mission Impossible 8, originally Dead Reckoning Part 2. On the 4K copy, it's still Part 1. I'm guessing if you buy a reissue, reprint, the title will be corrected. So I'm forever looking at the shelf going, where's Dead Reckoning Part 2? Oh, wait, it's now this movie. But yeah, the final reckoning. Is this indeed the end, or is this just the end of Mr. Cruise? Will he actually retire on a space cruise, or is he going to die? Is he going to do a No Time to Die? I don't know.
There is a lot of No Time to Die feelies with the sort of the way it's lit and stuff. The fucking color saturation and everything is beautiful. The flames going through the valley. That is
not the movie, just to be clear, guys. I haven't got early access or anything. I'm rewatching the trailer now, just to talk over it. And there's Tom Cruise doing a iconic run. Sorry, not dodgy. There's a flood. Should he choose to accept? God damn,
the last mission are deemed impossible, the mission falls to him. If he chooses to accept it. So Tom Cruise has actively said he wants to keep making these until he's in his 80s, like Indiana Jones. Ironically, so that links back to your picture. So he doesn't mind doing that. Paramount have angled more for billing this as the last one with Ethan Hunt, so you can maybe kill him off and then make it a bit, if you're going to carry it on, because I don't think this will end. I think that whether they reboot it James Bond style and someone else plays him, or whether they just carry on with a new lead. I know that because I was talking to Mike about this a little bit, and he said, like, people love the Jason Bourne films until they tried to make one without Matt Damon. But I would argue that Bourne Legacy is a lot better than Jason Bourne.
I've only ever seen up to number 3. I never saw 2012 onwards. I've only got the trilogy in my head. But yeah, I can comment once I've seen.
Check out Legacy, and because I do like it. It's not the best, but it's better than the 5th one, I think. When it's like, fuck it, we'll bring back Matt Damon. It's a shame because obviously he wants to do it. He's such a Scientologist or not. He made sure that with these 2 films that are back to back, it's a big budget, so they've had to, it underperformed the last one because Tom Cruise made sure that with the first one, everyone got paid during the pandemic, and with this one, everyone got paid during the writer's strike. So it wasn't a case of we lose the crew because they're going off to make other stuff because they need to make money, kind of thing. And the industry's been on its knees for the last 3 and a bit years. So props to him for whatever you think of him as a person. Props to him for that. And I know he had that outburst of people breaking COVID restrictions, but when he's a producer on these films and he's actively making sure that everyone's getting paid so the budget's going up, he's obviously going to be concerned that, any pushback, it just fucks them financially. Because I think the last one made just under 600 million.
600 million? I'm just reading reception.
Because I think the total budget is about 400 mil plus for both of them.
I'll go for both of them. I'm just reading worldwide total $570.6 million. That's part 1/7. It would not likely turn a profit in its theatrical run later, estimating it would lose the studio around $100 million if it did not cross 600 million worldwide, which it didn't. The film was described as a box office disappointment. Paramount received a total of $71 million in COVID-19 insurance payouts related to the film from Swiss insurer Chubb. Shout out to Switzerland. Numbers. Disappointing opening weekend. Unlike Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny a couple years later. Both were 2023. Shit, fucking hell. Dead Reckoning Part 1 feels longer than a year ago. Another near 3-hour film that cost around $300 million and opened to $84 million over its first 5 days Mission Impossible benefited from better critic and audiences scores. This is just going on about Part 1, but I'm trying to go over the new one. It was one of the Mission Impossible Part 1, Dead Reckoning Part 1, is one of the most expensive films ever made, period. And like you just said, it will carry over into the final Reckoning, bigger, badder, more expensive, more gorgeous, and more hair. That's how you know it's business.
Because they would have filmed it back to back, so it would have an element of a combined budget, wouldn't it? It wouldn't. I know because I think Mike said it's like 300 mil for the second one for number 8. But with marketing and stuff, and it's more of it would be, I think, a bit higher than that, but it would be between the 2 of them. I know these are expensive to make.
I've got 400 million. The budget's 400 million. Yeah.
Which, when you've got to make at least $1 billion, so maybe marketing the last one. Is it a smart thing to do?
Without going blindly, I'll say yes, because again, the quality of this franchise, as we've discussed in previous episodes, is pretty damn strong. There's not many franchises, 8 movies in, 7, soon to be 8, that have had a great reception as much as they have had. Like the Weak Link, not necessarily being a bad movie, it's completely distinct from the rest of the franchise. But I could still easily watch Mission Impossible 2 with Tom Cruise's longest hair known to man and still have a great time with it. There's the track record for MI is insane. I can't imagine it going down poorly with this one. So it's got to be a good strategy. Lose $1 billion to get that and more back. And I imagine it should at least draw more people in, and even newcomers, because hey, the word final means ending, right? Oh, I've got to catch up now and watch either 1996 onward, or at least watch part 1 of this story. But because it hasn't got the part 2 tag lead, do you think people might not bother with the last one and be mega confused?
Yeah, I think that might play in some of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I think it is as well? You know how, like, obviously Infinity War was Infinity War Part 1 and 2 for a while, and then a long time before release, it just became Infinity War. It's the fact that after it was released, it was retroactively, oh no, now this is just Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
It's the live, die, repeat scenario. It's, it's changing it a bit too late. Had they done it like before it came out, they went, you know what, this is just Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. And then I think everyone would
have repeat. Mentioned it's linked back to Tom Cruise. That's a funny coincidence.
There you go. Everything. It takes all sorts to make a world. I'm excited because, as you know, I'm someone that's not watched a Mission Impossible film at the cinema, but I think, should we mutually agree that this will be the 4DX film for us next year? We should go and get Ethan Hunt out of our fucking minds.
Big bold prediction. Dead Reckoning Part 1 was definitely up there with 4DX experience of last year. I'm going blank on other great 4DX films last year, but this definitely would have been up there for 2023 anyway. So damn straight. Yeah.
We'll have to do it. You can watch all the MIs are on Amazon Prime at the minute. Fuck knows how long for, so you might want to get cracking.
Because of a certain Paramount company. It'll be on Paramount Plus, I imagine, as well. For the few people that have it, and worldwide, other continents and stuff, they probably all have it on Paramount Plus. But again, I can't comment because it's another service that it's not a question of whether we can afford it or not. It's just, it's another one. It's DJ Khaled, isn't it? It's just another one. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you can't be, like we say, streaming service to death. Like, it's gonna kill us all eventually. But I'm up for getting my Ethan Hunt on, watching them all properly from start to finish, and then preparing for this one.
Yeah,
because I know Tom Cruise said like he doesn't want to stop, but Paramount obviously at some point for them they need to make more money. So what do? You get rid of your star that's costing you however much in producer fees as well as acting, and maybe you scale it back, maybe you bring it back, and as long as the character lives. 10 years' time, I don't see why Tom Cruise wouldn't throw himself out of a rocket in space.
No. Maybe that's how if they were to, like, again, a big 2025 and onwards conversation way in the future, assuming the film is fucking great and it is the finale, that's how you do it. Maybe 10 years from the release of this one, maybe you pass the torch. Ethan Hunt can come out of retirement, Mission Impossible 9, but then that's when you literally hand the torch to the next big actor, the next big protagonist, to then carry the franchise onward.
Do you know
don't have to be
apparently
Bond, but who is allegedly gonna take over the torch?
Well, the man who wants to be the next Tom Cruise.
I know a man that we want to be the next Top Cruise, and Top Cruise, shit. I know somebody who I want to be Tom Cruise, but I don't know whether he wants to be Tom Cruise.
Who are you thinking of?
He did a certain dance move. You can say he did the twist again.
Are you talking of Mr. Glenn Powell?
He was anyone but him. Yes, no, correct. Yeah, Glenn Powell. Yes.
That's who Tom Cruise wants.
That is who Tom Cruise wants, and I fucking will agree. Good stuff. Me and him have got the same mind. I'm not a Scientologist, but that's great. Great minds think alike. Cool. I'd be up for it if Mr. Powell wants to be Mr. Cruise. I'd be up for that. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I mean, you could, like I say, there's the scope for this to become like the American James Bond, and you could just have someone different play Ethan Hunt every few years. You could have it be like you say, a different character and bring Tom Cruise out of retirement in 10 years' time, because he will do another one. I wouldn't be surprised if the character lives that he would come back in some capacity at some point in the future, because he has a lot of say in Hollywood. Like, he is the last really of the old-fashioned movie star. So we shall see. Never say never again. Just like that fabulous Jason Bourne film. Yeah, fuck it. Like, but then it's like you've raised the stakes so much, and then you've got stuff coming into play from the first one, from the third one. A lot of people are just like, everything's going to come together. Is he talking to every single IMF agent he's ever worked with? Will Jeremy Renner come back and be in this?
Somehow, hopefully not in crutches and a wheelchair. No, I don't know.
I did say to
most people from part one are reprising the role. Like most of the cast from the last film are back in it. All of the main members.
Well, Simon Pegg's always in it.
He's guaranteed. There's no Mission Impossible without Mr. Pegg.
I said to Mike, it would be hilarious because obviously, like Paramount have been like, you know, they seem to have won the battle of making it his last one. If the film ends and every single person is dead except Ethan Hunt.
Maybe that's what the poster is. Maybe that's just him looking into the camera, being like,
just beaten Benji to death with a brick. That's what the poster is.
He is the brick.
I am the wonderful brick. I'm buzzing for Mission Impossible. I've watched the trailer so many times. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to see this in IMAX and 4DX. Get it in my eye holes.
I want to watch it again. That's how good that trailer was. I want to watch it again. Yeah,
I think I've watched it at least like 10 times today. It's wicked. Just like when you think back to the, you know, and we'll see you at the movies that you did like Christmas 22, like looking forward to part one.
Didn't he? Yeah.
When he just jumped out, he was in fucking freefall, just being like, "Yep, this is me." And I'm surprised that he's not actually been to space for these films because that would have been next. And maybe that's when Paramount were like, you know what? Let's stop paying for so much. Let's reboot it with Glenn Powell in a cave with a box of scraps.
An earthbound Glenn Powell, yes, stick him to caves. Yeah, maybe he can. Yeah, maybe that was their ideal thinking. Maybe they thought he could be a certain animal, like certain, say a certain bat, but then that's another studio, and that would cause all sorts of internal conflict. Should Paramount want to take the man of the bat on and Matt Reeves? Don't you dare do that. I mean, Glenn Powell would be, again, he's the very much Mr. Hollywood man of 2024. But Glenn Powell as Batman, random thoughts. How would you feel about that? Is he not Batman, or is he more?
I just don't think he doesn't look old enough for what they're going to do with Brave and the Bold.
No, he doesn't.
You know what? I'd have him as Nightwing.
And like an old man Nightwing, or older man Nightwing.
Yeah, an older grizzled Nightwing. And then you have Robin being the shit.
Yeah, that's a solid show.
Glenn Powell was Dick Grayson, and then you would have like someone in their 40s, and you'd have like a Tom Cruise as like
Tom Cruise as Batman. Oh Jesus!
Simon Pegg as Batman. Do you know what? For anyone that does care, people might not. Bond update. I am on Skyfall. With the film still on the titles expiring in the next 30 days. I have got Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die, and then I have watched all of them.
Every single one. So I can't remember the order exactly from last episode, but you sort of did them in a roundabout order, but I know you were kind of approaching the Brosnan run the films, am I correct? Or had you watched one or two Brosnans, but then you'd gone back to do Dalton, or I can't exactly remember the order.
So what I'd have to was I'd watch like the Daniel Craig one sort of out of sequence, and then I'd sort of done the same with Brosnan, and then I was going to keep going backwards. Then I was like, why don't I just actually, for the first time in a very long time, watch from Doctor No onwards? And I did. And I've been putting them in an order as I've watched the film. So obviously I watched Doctor No, that was number one. And then it was like, do I like, From Russia with Love more than Doctor No? Do I like Goldfinger more than both of them? Sort of thing. So it's sort of the same way that I do my film list. So like I'll see stuff and then like put it in there. And then if and when stuff comes on home streaming with like the films of the year, like I give it a rewatch if I can. With these, it's just sort of like sometimes I'll sit there after the Dalton ones, I'll look at it and be like, would I move anything up or down? Not much has changed yet. I think I'll sort of leave it until I've finished No Time to Die, get those ones in sort of like a preliminary place, and then sort of like maybe make some fine adjustments, because at the moment, I mean, I've got in my bottom 6, I have 3 Connery ones in a row.
Oh damn!
Mm-hmm.
3. Thunderball you only live twice, and Diamonds Are Forever. But not in that order.
Hang on.
But those 3 are in that order exactly. So what?
Yeah,
you only live twice, being the best of those 3. Being the best of those 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I concur with that. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's yeah. Okay.
I mean, I do want to like do this list, and then like maybe if we could approach a certain Mr. Calvin and maybe get his opinion on our lists, because it might blow his mind. So do you want to hazard a guess at my top 10 at the moment?
God, 10 out of what, 20, 25. No Time to Die is number 25, isn't it? Not counting the non-MGM ones.
So Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die aren't on the list yet.
Then, yeah, of course. So, Casino Royale is in the top 3.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that's a very random way to approach top 10. So randomly, GoldenEye, Goldfinger, Casino Royale. I mean, I'm not exactly guessing the order. I'm just going to say names. Yeah, so those 3. License to Kill. I was going to say Live to Kill. That ain't. License to Kill, Living Daylights,
Daylight.
The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yep.
For Your Eyes Only.
For Your Eyes No. For Your Eyes Only is quite near the bottom.
Oh wow, okay. Maybe I'm mixing greatness with mediocre. The Man with the Golden Gun, because it's goofy, harmless shit, right? Or is that not top 10 material for you?
That is bottom. That's in the bottom end.
No, fine.
There is another.
Live and Let Die.
Yep.
Live and Let Die. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then I'm trying to think of 2 other more one. And I've just skipped over Brosnan completely. What about Tomorrow Never Dies and The World's Not Enough? Because you like Brosnan.
Yep.
Yeah, so am I at 9?
You're at 8. So there's 2 more that you haven't mentioned.
So they're in the Moore era.
There is another Connery.
Yeah, you ain't gonna put Die Another Day in your top 10. Otherwise, I'd leave. No. Yeah, there is another Connery. What, From Russia with Love? Yeah, I've not said any of them. So what, From Russia with Love?
Nope.
For not Thunderball.
No, Thunderball. I said Thunderball. You Only Live Twice and Diamonds Are Forever in a row.
Yeah, they're the bottom. Yeah, so all right, Dr. No, and then From Russia with Love.
So yeah, Dr. No's in there, and then you got one more.
Oh, I said From Russia. What the hell was the Dr. No, From Russia with Love? Goldfinger. I said
3, and then there's one more that you haven't got yet.
I'm sort of going through it in order. I said no, Goldfinger, Russia with Love. You Only Live Twice. Did I not say that?
No, You Only Live Twice. You've said that already, but you've guessed that near the bottom. What? There's a James Bond that is very solo.
Service. Yeah, Majesty's, for fuck's sake. Yeah, the one that ain't directly linked to any actor, of course. Yes.
There you go. That's my top 10. The order, decide for yourself. Exactly. Maybe we'll get to a point where Connor's done a similar list and we can compare with a certain Bond YouTuber. That would be nice. But yeah, I've got I'm Skyfall. I know will be in the top 10. I just at the moment I can't see where, because it's been fun, because I've had to force myself to watch films that I know that I actively have not liked that much in the past.
There's nothing worse, but again, it's part of the fun for this. But no, I know that feeling.
Quantum is a lot higher than I thought it would be after I watched it last night.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of them, because I'd never there was a couple of more ones I'd either not seen at all or all the way through. Like I've seen, because Bond is always on ITV3, 2 or 1 at some point on a Sunday, at some point in the year. Like it's always on. So I've caught bits of it here and there. I vividly remember watching Tomorrow Never Dies on ITV1 on a Saturday once. Must have been about 10 years ago, maybe more. But yeah, the likes of Octopussy, I've enjoyed more. There's not many that I actively am like, oh, they're shit. There's bits that you can like about all of them. It's very much like Doctor Who. You can like bits about all of them, but there's just more that I like more than others. Like For Your Eyes Only, I'd never really liked, but it's a bit higher up on the list than I thought it would be. Same with Octopussy. I'm surprised how high Doctor No is at the minute, because I think it's partly nostalgia, because it's one of the first older ones that I watched. Because
of course,
I had 6 on Blu-ray, and I was like, oh, let me watch the first ever one. And I had a lot of fun revisiting that first. Racial stuff and language at the time aside, it was like, oh, this is, I've got a bit more love to give towards Doctor No, which is nice, because it's always for me been a bit of a vanilla one. It's the most basic a Bond can be, and ones are like you've either got. For me, it should like sit in the middle, and half of them are better than it, half of them are worse than it, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Doctor No is like your baseline, even for a first film. It's good in that merit, because it's the first film. Of course, in theory, everything should be better than the original, right? But then, of course, the bias, some sort of bias in people, give the original some credit anyway. But like you say, there's a lot more mediocre, there's a lot more cringe, there's a lot more pure shite when it comes to the Bond franchise. Up past Doctor No. But then it's always one where I think, oh, did I really enjoy Doctor No? And that's where I feel kind of conflicted on it at times, because I know there's bits of it I like. There's certain like moments and clips you can watch online that will sum up the movie for you completely. But when I put on, is it like the hour and 15-minute runtime or whatever it is, there's only maybe like between 10 and 15 minutes of that actual film where I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm engaged. But guess what, folks? It's all at the end. But that's not a discredit to the actual film itself. That's just, I guess, the way it was done originally.
Yeah.
So for me, Doctor No is always the funny one. But yeah, like when I go back to it, I'll try and not have that experience from last time and just go into it completely blind. But then also, I think part of me wants to do Doctor No in like the middle of the run, where I have an idea of what the franchise is and the staples and what it becomes, and then just view it as a side piece, even though it's the original and I can't really view it any differently. But I don't know, part of me would score Doctor No higher if I was to do it mid-franchise or mid-binge, then start off with it. But that's just me. I don't know, mate, because a lot of people could have watched it in 62, gone, yeah, no thanks, and easily skipped it. But, luckily for MGM, then they obviously didn't. But I don't know, part of me wants to do Doctor No in the middle of a run, as opposed to starting off with it.
Do it whatever order you want. Because I think, when Calvin did his third ranking all the Bond films, it was like a sort of different, it was either the third or the second one. He did it in like not a specific order. So of course, for that it can, because I'm kind of intrigued. Maybe next time I do this, to like go from the worst film up to see if I'm like, they do actually genuinely get better, or if I'm like, oh no, I actually enjoyed that a lot more than last time. I'll see if But just
once you've scored your Sorry, we keep fucking talking. It's a good approach doing it that way, because once you've scored your definitive bottom and what you think is your bottom, then start off with it, and then, like you say, do a reverse list and say, was it better than this? Could it be truly bad as this, and whatever? Like that's a good way to do a list as well. So yeah.
But no, at the moment I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm making sure that phone down, focus on the film. And I've really I was also like born in the Brosnan era. Like, Brosnan's my mum's favorite Bond. For a lot of time, he was the Bond. The new Bond coming out was him, and I wasn't old enough to really see Casino Royale in the cinema. But I remember, like, from Quantum onwards, seeing them as well. So, like, I'm expecting Skyfall to be somewhere in the top 10. I don't know what it will push out at the minute, because I think once I've got everything in, a few things might jiggle round. Goldfinger, obviously, because it's iconic. Live and Let Die, I think, is great. License to Kill, I think, has really grown over the time that it's been out. It is one of the better Bonds, and Dalton is one of the better Bonds. But it's unfortunate we never got that third film with him. Majesties, because I've always loved and gelled with that one. I think Daniel Craig's done a lot of good for the darker, more sort of faithful adaptations of Bond, i.e. your Daltons and your Lazenbys, because it's been like, because like Edgar Wright said, like, Bonds have got to kind of be like milk chocolate, like, silly, fun and suave, or dark chocolate, like moody, gritty. Then you've got to alternate. So we're due like a really fun, campy Bond next, especially after you get to an invisible car. Like, you had to go back to reality. GoldenEye and Casino Royale, Martin Campbell is the best director of the Bond franchise. Spy Who Loved Me was a big sort of tipping point in terms of like where you go next with it, like after the sort of lukewarm reception of Golden Gun, like does this franchise still have legs without Sean Connery? Because I think some people are still thinking that. And then he cemented himself as one of the best of the best to play Bond. I have loved a element of every film. I will just say that outright. I know that Spectre's going to be near the bottom because I fucking just detest everything they do. Oh, it's all connected. No Time to Die is going to be a fun one to place. Because it could legitimately, like, it's some of the best and worst of the Craig era. Sometimes in the same scene.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there.
But no, I have enjoyed it. But also, I went to the cinema this week.
To see what?
I saw a certain Ben Whishaw voiced Bear in Peru.
Oh, let me guess. It wasn't dear old Paddington, wasn't it?
Mr. Paddington in Peru, the third in the critically acclaimed Paddington trilogy.
And approved by Pedro Pascal as the second greatest movie of all, no, the third greatest movie of all time, according to him and Nick Cage in Unbearable Weight of Massive Ego Talent.
Yeah. Honestly. Have you watched the other two films?
I have not, but I've been meaning to. I would like to. I just purely haven't got around to them. But are they on a service at all? Are they on a streaming?
I think two is on Netflix. I think at one point both of them were on Disney Plus, so you might be able to catch both of them because they are very good and very hot. It's weird that it's been 10 years since the first one.
That's crazy. That is, yeah.
And the second one was 7 years ago now. So it's nice that they finally got around to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. Have they done anything in between the Paddington movies, or is there a particular reason why there was a gap, or is it just?
I think the cast just got busy because obviously you got like Hugh Bonneville, Sally Hawkins, who criminally is not in this film. She's been recast as Emily Mortimer. The kids are obviously quite young and going on to projects themselves, I assume, because they've sort of 10 years ago they started doing this, and it's still the same kids. Ben Whishaw, obviously, very busy man. And it's probably just hard to get because there's a lot of good British actors in it as well, and a lot of the neighbours from the first two appear at the beginning of this one, and then not much at all. I mean, you've got like Olivia Colman's on board for this one. You've got Antonio Banderas. Julie Walters is obviously back because she's, what's her name, Mrs. Bird. She's like basically like the nanny of the kids. But no, it's because you had like the likes of Peter Capaldi was in both of them, Sanjeev Bhaskar, Ben Miller, Hugh Grant. Like you've had a lot of important big British actors in these films. So it must be hard to just gather them all at a certain place and time, as anything does when it gets successful. Sally Hawkins, by all accounts. Sorry.
No, I was asking for Mr. Hughes. Is he back in Paddington 3, or has he been withdrawn?
He is in a post-credit for Paddington in Peru.
Okay. Because so
he is the villain of the second one.
Oh, is he? Okay.
So that, I mean, it's not really spoiling much because it's all over. You can tell as soon as you see him on screen, and it was all over the trailers. But so he's the antagonist of the second one. He has a nice little thing, which I wasn't expecting because it was kind of them sequels where we go abroad to a different place, and it kind of distances itself from the other ones. But where it had been so long, that kind of felt right because otherwise it would be like trying to get back into this world kind of thing. So it kind of leaves it in a place where I think there will be a fourth one at some point. God knows when. Like they are such heartfelt, nice movies, but it's when you can get all these people together again. And I wasn't expecting to see anyone like Hugh Grant actually just be like, oh, he's got a nice little scene with Paddington at the end.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. Fair enough.
Building so the PCU.
the PCU, yeah. The Paddington Cinematic Universe. The Peru Cinematic Universe.
Peru,
maybe
the Peru-niverse.
The next one will be set in a different continent, but maybe it will all link back to Peru. Everything happens at this point from Peru. Yeah,
be like when Coulson always mentions Tahiti, but it'll be Peru.
Yeah. All
Sally
Budapest.
Hawkins
and Scarlet. Budapest.
Yeah.
The Budapest.
It's just like Peru-Budapest all over again.
Yeah, Peru-Budapest, yeah.
By all accounts, Sally Hawkins declined to come back, whether it was scheduling conflicts or whatever. I'm not 100% sure, which is a shame, especially when there's a flashback to the first film, but they've had to audio dub in Emily Mortimer as the mum now, instead of obviously Sally Hawkins, who was, she's like, Emily Mortimer's fine, but for kids, obviously they'll just be like, it's the same character because recasting people in films is nothing new. But it's just a shame for us older people that are like, oh, I really like Sally Hawkins in this role, and she's quite a fun actor in even the previous two films. You'll kind of find that if you manage to like sort of binge all three at some point, it will just sort of be a bit, the chemistry's a bit not quite the same, but it still works for the kids. Like the kids enjoyed it, so that was that's the main thing, isn't it? But yeah.
Oh, fair play.
Decent film. It's yet another. Shall I count how many kids' films I've watched on my list this year?
Spoilers, folks. It'll be a lot more than me.
Would you count Godzilla Kong as a kids' film, or would you say it's more like
I mean, it's about a dinosaur. Well, does Godzilla eat people in this new Godzilla movie? I can't remember. Does he actually like kill people?
No, he beats up a child monkey. I remember that. That was strange.
Oh.
Inside Out 2, Paddington in Peru, Despicable Me 4, Migration, technically If, Kung Fu Panda 4.
It's the most adult themed kid movie I've ever seen, and I don't know if I got therapy from it. If I can imagine if you took Noah to it, would he have walked out without having therapy from it? That was a weird kids movie.
That's the thing. Paddington was the first sort of mainly live action one that he saw, and it was a bit of a, especially because we got there so the weekend it came out, we saw it on the Saturday, which is odd for me, to actually manage to go that close to something coming out. But so there was screenings all day. It was quite busy. The screening was for 4:20. We got there about 5:05. Obviously snacks and stuff got in there. Film didn't start till literally 5:00, which we expect the level of the adverts and stuff, but it just for the kids and that sitting there that's an hour of their time that nearly that they're getting bored.
Yeah, pure agony. Yeah, I can imagine.
But but he did enjoy it. I mean, he fell asleep the last 10 minutes, but that was just purely because that the timing of the screening. We tend to, if we're going to go to a film, try and go a bit earlier. The latest we try and go is 1:00, so that then it's sort of in, out, have lunch or lunch before kind of thing. Because then we came out and it was 25 to 7, and by that point it's dinner going into bedtime kind of thing. So it was
no one looked at the visuals. Also, the lack of visuals now that are in the winter season, especially. You thought, oh my god, where's all the color gone? Why is it all dark? He was actually petrified.
About 8 kids films. Garfield movie, Ryan in the Dark, Kung Fu Panda 4, If, Migration, Despicable Me 4, Paddington in Peru, Inside Out 2.
I think out of all of them, I've seen Kung Fu Panda 4 and If. So I've done 2 kids movies. Maybe there's another one somewhere that you mentioned. I'm like, oh, I did see it, but no. So I think I've done 2.
Did you catch anything from D23 Brazil?
I'm literally skimming through it now. But a certain Bolt of Thunder that I'm literally reacting to, or kind of reacting to it. I'm literally looking at that now. Because I saw articles relating to the MCU about, again, if you're that invested in the lore, the MCU has lore, we're that committed to it. But if you've been reading about it and wondering about a certain building and a certain tower, then the trailer for Thunderbolts has answered that question and solved that big old dilemma. If you know what I'm talking about.
The rumor that Norman Osborn is the actual beneficiary of the Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers style, and it's maybe Matthew McConaughey. I like the idea.
Wow. Is there any is there any actual providence to that, or is that just
so? That's a theory that I've seen a lot of people are saying that that it's going to be more along the lines of the Dark Avengers that possibly revealed that Osborn is the beneficiary of it, and then Avengers Tower becomes Oscorp. That's a possibility, but I was more saying along the lines of there's another kids film coming out 2026, so we're going to be swamped for kids films.
Why? What's happening in 2026, George?
Well, in 2026, a certain Age of Ice is returning.
Oh, I did not know this. See, that's made me feel young, like so young that I might watch it in 2 years' time. Yeah, okay, cool. Ice Age, what, 6?
Ice Age 6?
Damn, okay.
It's all about family. But returning is Ray Romano, Queen Latifah, John Leguizamo, Dennis Leary. The gang is back because famously, I know I ranted. I think it was a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, Max, about the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, the film that saw the return of Simon Pegg's character, where he was the only returning voice, and the animation was shoddy because it was after Disney had bought Fox and closed Blue Sky, the studio that did the animation for Ice Age, and they famously did the little short with Scrap finally getting his acorn as a sort of goodbye to the character. Seems that they're getting everyone back to do Ice Age 6. All the original cast are back. There's no sort of set date yet. There's no idea of the storyline. We just know obviously the original gang will be in it. Whether it'll be the last one, I mean, it's a big sort of few years for I know we've got legacy sequels, but we've had a lot of family-friendly legacy sequels. You've had your Kung Fu Panda 4 this year, which was 8 years after Kung Fu Panda 3. You've got Moana 2 end of this month, which was that 2016? That was 2016 as well, wasn't it, for the first one? Despicable Me 4 was about 7 years between films. So we're getting it's a bit of a trend at the moment. The Age of Legacy.
The Age of Legacy. The Age of Legacy. I'm reading about 2026 because, again, you mentioned kid movies are on the rise and legacy. Some of these movies aren't necessarily legacy sequels. These are just general sequels that made a lot of money. So 2026, you've now got Ice Age 6. You've got Toy Story 5. You've got Shrek 5. And you've got Super Mario Bros. Movie follow-up, a.k.a. Super Mario 2. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem sequel, whatever that will be called, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 to the successful 2023 animated one, which I did watch and I had a blast with. You've got untitled Walt Disney Animation Studios film. A Paw Patrol film, Paw Patrol 3 is happening in 2026 as well, for those that really do have little ones. And The Cat in the Hat is getting an animated CG film by Warner Brothers in 2026 as well. There's a lot happening in 2026 for animated stuff.
Yeah, we should just fuck 2025. We should just talk about 2026. Toy Story 5, I'm not bothered about. It's a fucking film series I grew up with and I loved, but it should have stopped after 3 and it should definitely have stopped after 4. I mean, your actors are dying and just you're using Don Rickles voice clips just to have Potato Head be in it but not actually contribute anything to the story or do anything. That was pointless, and it's just gonna now Buzz is the enemy again. You got an army of malfunctioning Buzzes and they're going up against iPad kids, and it's seemingly Woody's back with the gang even though his old character arc in the 4th one was, learning to let go and be with the person that he loved, which was Bo Peep. But fuck it, I guess she must have got fucking sold on in Vinted or something.
Jesus. No, but I like the idea of Andy moving on and returning back to reclaim the toys. That's just a random theory.
Yeah, that was Tim Allen's idea, wasn't it? He said he wanted Andy to be tracking down all the toys for his kids, which if it was that, I'd be fine with.
Yeah.
But then that would definitely have to be the end of the road.
Completely. Toy Story 7 or 8, God forbid.
TS7, Fast and Furious.
Know what? Yeah, TS7, the final toy, the final reckoning, the final toying. The final toying, yeah. That would be an odd comparison. Toy Story lasting as long as Ethan fucking Hunt.
Yeah. Well, longer. Oh, no. Well, only a year longer because it's 95 and 96, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. So Toy Story was first. Yeah. Quite a year.
Toy Story, Tom Hanks has been Woody longer than Tom Cruise has been Ethan Hunt. Because what's the gap between them films? So 96. When was the second one?
2000s. So you had 95 and 99 for Toy Story 1 and 2.
And then 2010, 2019, 2026.
Yeah.
So
even between 2 and 3, like Mission Impossible, 2000 and then 2006 for Mission Impossible 3, that's another long gap.
Well, yeah, it's like when the Bond films used to be every year and then every couple of years, and then you had that big, 6-year gap between License to Kill and GoldenEye. But then you had 6 years between Spectre and No Time to Die. So maybe just the bigger gaps between films is just a common thing now, which is a shame. I'd like if we could get back down to like 3 years max between Bond films, but we'll see if and when they announce the next guy. So then 2006. Then when was 4 2011?
Yeah, 2011. Then 5 was 2015, and then 2018 for Fallout.
Fallout, yeah,
best at the time. And then 2023 for Dead Reckoning. Both parts, spoilers. And then 2025 for Final Reckoning, aka Part 2 to Dead Reckoning.
And then originally. 2027 for Glenn Powell, Impossible.
Damn straight. Damn straight.
Do you think he would do, if he took it over, would he do the same amount of stunts and stuff himself that Tom Cruise has done? Or do you just think, fuck following that? I never
no. Less stunts, but better quality. Because that's the type of man Glenn Powell is. Less stunts, less dangerous stuff. But when he does put himself on the line, he'll make Tom Cruise look like a pansy. No, he'll try and outdo Tom Cruise. Maybe, I don't know. There ain't no ego here. We love both men, but no, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was trying to be Tom, if I was trying to be in the league of Tom Cruise, then it isn't like an ego contest where I would try to outdo him, because he is kind of like on a league of his own, really, in terms of his mentality towards his movies. But if I was really trying to be the next Tom Cruise or be the first Glenn Powell, then I don't know, you'd have to be him but do something different. And the idea is you do epic, iconic shit that he obviously did 20 more years ago, but you have to do it for less or different and make Tom Cruise look like a pansy. Easier said than done.
Seemingly that task is impossible.
Exactly. He lives up to the name.
Have you seen anything new this week? The old mucker?
The old mucker. I did see. I've gone blank. I literally had the image and I've gone blank. What the hell's the film called? Oh yeah. Oh shit! It's a red one. Going with my thumbnail. It's a red one. Dwayne Johnson and Captain America Evans, and rescuing Santa Claus. That's the tagline that I'm going to go with. Do I feel Christmassy in November? No, but also be warned, because for a non-Christmas person like myself, it doesn't make me more Scroogey or more humbuggy, but honestly, it's the most baffling Christmas experience I've had pre-Christmas for a movie. That's over 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. By all means, I think people need to view it for your eyes only, the viewers. But my God, it's just mixed. I don't quite know how I feel about it, in the sense of it was so random, non-focused, Christmassy in that sense, but it just so happens that it's on Christmas Eve, Santa Claus has been kidnapped, and you get two of Hollywood's leading actors basically rescuing him. But the journey that they go on, who and what they come across, is the least Christmas spirit feeling journey I've been on. And I don't quite no. I think little kids will love it, but my God, if you're an adult, if you're doing what we do, but obviously a little bit better than us, then maybe stick close to those numbers and reception stuff, because it's just baffling, really. I'm quite speechless the more I think about it, but it's also that entertaining yet cringy that I can't not think about it. Is it Spum equivalent? Maybe that's the fault. Is it Spum equivalent? That's a genuine fault. But this is the first of a planned franchise by Amazon, because originally this was a streaming movie that then got withdrawn from December the 20th, 2023, I think was the original date. And then Amazon, I mean, who the hell gave this the all clear to get a theatrical run? But the first of a planned franchise. I don't know if that's going to happen based on its current box office earnings.
Oh,
but
no.
Hey, what do I know? No, I don't know. It's by all means, maybe view it. It's very Jumanji comparable, but spoiler alert, it's done by the same director, which I didn't know, and it made total sense when I walked out, because it's very much Jumanji, but not as cool and not as funny and not as inventive as that time. So I don't know. It's honestly the weirdest movie I've seen for a while. Certainly big screen material. It's weird. I don't quite know how I feel about it. As a critic or as a fan, let alone call it a fan. But for both men, both men, Dwayne and Chris, I don't know. Chris, I think, benefits it from slightly because you go into it thinking Cat's in patriarchy, Cat's in role model, but he's such a douche. He's Johnny Storm in this movie, which is entertaining and amusing because Chris Evans can pull it off. But some of the lines that Mr. Dwayne the Cock Johnson pulls out, it doesn't feel genuine at all. It just feels so scripted. And I don't know, The Rock, arguably maybe The Rock's worst leading performance from me, maybe. Yeah, I know that doesn't mean much because he very much plays the same man in every movie he's in. But I don't know, he weren't Rocky for me. He just was any average Joe.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't know. By all means, go and see it. Maybe Noah will love it, but I was just confused by what I experienced, really. But not in a bad way. It wasn't terrible. It was just big screen Hollywood screenwriter bollocks. And, oh, look, come and see this spectacle. And I don't know, just, yeah. Go and see it out of curiosity. Maybe I've sold it to you in a different light, but I walked out of it. Me and my mum just kept both staring at each other. We were both like, what on earth did we just watch? We were just speechless the whole time, but we couldn't stop talking about it. So I don't know. Red One, maybe go and see it because it might be the only one? Question mark. Maybe that's the tagline that they didn't want to advertise.
That's interesting, yeah. Well, considering the hierarchy of power in the Christmas DC universe is about to change.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that was a red one, Eddie. Yeah, that was a red one.
So, if you had to give it an arbitrary rating,
I think it's 4. 4 is a number. It's Red 4. Red 4, come in, Red 4. Yeah, it's 4 out of 10. It is almost Spum equivalent. There's maybe a scene or two that maybe enhances a certain score over a certain Spum movies. I mean, if you're curious about the Spum, or if you don't understand the Spum diagram, maybe check 2 or 3 episodes ago on the channel, and you'll get exactly what we mean. Luckily, this is not done by Sony. If it was done by Sony, I think I would have walked out. Yeah, by all means, look at it. I want George to look at it, but he's not going to be a better person for watching it. I guarantee it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. But that's the thing. For a movie that should have been an hour and a half, it was 45 minutes too long. And I felt it at a certain bit, but I won't say what it is because even that, for a Christmas movie, completely changed my expectation and tonally, and it changed everything at this certain bit that then dragged. Yeah, I don't know. Just Red One. I honestly want your thoughts. If you can do it for next week.
Does it have a post-credit scene?
Oh, I didn't stay to find out, but I don't think there is. I don't think there was. If I'm wrong, anyone else that's seen Red One, let us know in the comments below. Maybe, for once, maybe spoil it in the comments. I don't have to watch it myself out of guilt or curiosity after a drink or two. Wink, wink.
Why not? We'll have to do another. Well, I say another. We haven't officially done the first. Have a little tipple and watch something along all together. Wait for Christmas. Maybe that's our Christmas. That's our Red One. When we watched Voyage of the Damned, or we'll watch Voyage of the Damned in the future.
Yeah.
Have you seen Stephen Moffat talking about Doctor Who?
I mean, I've seen him talk about Doctor Who a lot, but not. What has he said? What's that man? The mastermind that is Moffat, Stephen Mastermind, said.
So, in an interview that was on BBC News, I think either Monday or Sunday, was talking about the Christmas special, obviously, and how it sort of came to be that he's writing it. Is basically the fact that Russell spoke to him and said, "I need to crack on with these season 2 scripts, but means I don't have enough time to do Christmas." And he said, it's not like he asked me to come in and finish he didn't ask me to come in and finish his script. It was like, just do whatever you want, write the Christmas special. Like, if you can, that will really help me out. Because then he literally cracked on with writing probably 6 of the 8 episodes for season 2, and the best ones are going to be the ones not written by him again, maybe. But
Doom 2, yeah.
And the basic plot that Stephen Moffat has said is, what if a hotel chain in the future obtained time travel and then would, use guests, get guests from the past to fill up rooms, basically, kind of thing. So basically, the enemy is commercialism. Like with a good Stephen Moffat script, the enemy is from within. And I'm really looking forward to it.
But I'm getting Night Terrors was that, again, brilliant Series 6 episode where it was in a hotel and different rooms.
You're thinking of God Complex.
Fine. They're both in that same season, same block of the episode. The titles get mixed up. But also, you say hotel and time travel stuff. I mean, not that, again, 1987 or 88, depending on when it aired, would have pulled it off. But that also gives me, I believe, Paradise Towers vibes, but maybe done better. Idea, conception.
Paradise Towers is a masterpiece.
I know, but guys, you can watch it on your season 24 collection, which isn't relevant because that came out like 4 years ago. But yeah, if you haven't seen Paradise Towers, maybe rewatch it for Joy to the World.
McCoy on HD.
You can, yeah.
The only classic Doctor with all of his stories adapted into HD. Because not everyone, because you still got Twin Dilemma for Colin, and everyone else is missing a few seasons.
Yeah, like a couple each. Yeah, but we'll get there. One day we shall complete it. One day we shall complete them all, and then all the animations, all the episodes. One day I'm not going to finish the quote because I can't fucking remember the exact melody of it. Shit. Yeah, one day the collection will be complete. Cool. Yay.
I've been selling my old so basically Spacewise. So I've been selling the normal DVDs on Vinted.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah,
so
that will happen.
They're all up in season bundles because a lot of people are selling them £3 a DVD. So we sort of use that as like a guide, but sort of done it like just under. So like, was it season 27 of them? So what? That should be like 21 quid. But we did it for like 15, and someone bought them, including I was quite sad because the 5 Doctors is the first classic DVD I bought.
Yeah, and it's not,
I've got I have space that needs to be used. So yep, using that. A few of them are up if anyone wants to buy them off Vinted at decent price. They've obviously been looked after because it's me. I've not been a prick about anything, so I've got all the discs. Nothing's broken. I've got like Misfits series 1 to 4. I've got like Game of Thrones box sets. Anyone who wants to go to my Vinted and buy them off me to give me some money, please.
Please.
Yeah, that was quite sad. I was quite sad when that season 20 got bought because I was like, oh, I need to actually send off my copy of the 5 Doctors. I was quite sad.
I feel your pain. I feel emotional hearing that. That is sad. That is quite sad.
Very, very, very sad.
But hey, you technically own it 4 times on the season 20 box set because there's the original broadcast version, the 99 special edition anyway, and then you get the brand new 2023 40th anniversary edition. So you can watch
exactly.
it 4 times.
I need to be pragmatic, and actually, it means that I just have to watch it on them now instead of just having them sitting nicely on my shelf. So there we go.
Yeah.
And then I'll sell all of those and get the standard editions.
In another 10-ish years, because again, those collection standard releases are 2 years apart from the big limited sets.
Yeah, they're about to, because I think season 2's been listed.
Fine, but that was end of 20. Was that 22 we bought that, or was that 23? I don't know. When did we buy season 2? It was last year. Yeah.
I'm not 100% to be honest, but yeah. What else? Do you know what? Would they do when all 26 seasons are out? If you'd waited the long game and not got the limited edition ones or the standard ones, would you hold out for like a £300? Here's seasons 1 to 26,
like the complete classic Who?
Yeah,
I mean, would you imagine it like the Death Star Skywalker saga, that sort of a box?
Yeah, with proper limit. Like here's this. It's all of that for anyone that missed.
I mean, sure. Yeah, but with that, you'd have to actually have some goodies that would warrant diehards to purchase it.
Yeah, you get Colin Baker. He comes around and plugs it in for you into your DVD player. He goes, brilliant. You won't mind if I don't join you.
He gives you a slice of carrot cake for pudding. And then Sylvester can give you an exercise bike. Yeah, he can get you an exercise bike as well. Peter Davison can grow some celery in your back garden if you're fortunate to have a back garden.
You just they just come round and just chill out with you.
Tom Baker,
you get live behind the sofa,
scarves and jelly babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no.
And you get free dance sessions with Paul McGann.
It's been a week. It's been a week. I'm gonna watch the Mission Impossible films because I'm excited about the new one. I'm excited about what Marvel has to offer. I'm gonna try and watch Deadpool and Wolverine tonight on streaming.
Yeah.
Before I obviously buy it on 4K because for some reason they'll probably just fucking get rid of it at some point in the future.
Of course.
What else have I got? What else have I got to catch up on? It's because obviously it's weird because I know you get, as we call it, and many people probably do, the Crimbo Limbo period is fast creeping upon us. Obviously, we won't be here because we've pre-recorded nearly all of our December episodes. Well, this time in less than a month, we'll have done. We're literally in about 4 weeks. We'll have done our last one because we're trying to leave the list as long as possible so that we get as many 2024 films in it. But it's like we're in this weird period where it's like, it's early to mid-November. Not much is happening. There's a few more good releases to come.
Yeah. Good is the question because they haven't technically happened yet. But by the time this will come out, a certain Colosseum, a certain Ridley, not Ripley, will come out. Yeah, it comes out this Friday. But then the following week, we can be Wicked as well. We can discuss that in a couple of weeks.
Wicked Part 1, Stealth Part 1, just like Dune.
Just like Dune, yeah. Stealth Part 1.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet is actually he is actually playing Willy Wonka in Wicked. There you go.
That would be a weird crossover.
It's Wicked Willy. It's the Barbenheimer of its day.
It's Wickedator. So yeah, you had Barbenheimer, then you had Jokopolis earlier, like last month, with Joker and Megapolis, the both shite movies. And now you got Gladiated. Or yeah, Gladiated, or fuck, Wickiator. Wicked John Wicked.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, because I've got Gladiator on 4K, so I can rewatch that, and we can maybe talk about a Ridley Scott epic next week. Possibly catching up on Agatha, obviously.
In the cupboards, I've got that on 4K. I'm gonna rewatch that the next couple of nights, and then get into the Colosseum spirit of the medieval Roman fighting. Yeah, gladiator.
And at some point,
spirit.
we will. I know Mike's desperate for it. We will talk about the Penguin at some point when we've watched it.
Yes, don't worry, Michael. I'm a man of my word. I've very much enjoyed episode 1 with me nan. She sort of watched it reluctantly, but she was quite amused by Colin Farrell's wonderful makeup and performance. So yes, Penguin's definitely something good to be talking about. And because the ending of the episode was this week or yesterday, just gone by the time. Well, not by the time this comes out, but basically Monday of this week. I'm sure it'll be on Now TV for those in the UK that have been keeping up with it weekly. So yeah, the finales literally would have just happened. And
it's just happened. Apparently, the final shot links directly back to the Batman, and I've seen some interviews of Matt Reeves saying how, like, you pick up that character then at a different point in his life when Batman next sees him, and it's kind of he said like the Batman trilogy and obviously any other spin-offs that they will do. He said it's all weird because it's not like it's about Batman or Penguin or Joker. It's about Gotham, how the city itself is a dark and desolate place, but it seems to draw people in, seems to make people have a lust for power or doing something to try and fight the chaos that's within it, which is quite an interesting thing. Of the setting is the same, it's just the characters that are different. And from what I've heard, it's just like there's a bat signal at the end as well, and it's kind of like this will get picked up in the Batman Part 2, assumingly.
Maybe that's not the post-credit scene. Maybe that is the final shot. It's just Penguin looking at a bat signal. But for those that have watched episode 8, maybe you can not let us know and not spoil it in the comments, because people are slowly getting around to it, like us. But also Colin himself has come out and said that he is roughly in 5 or 6 scenes in the sequel to Matt Reeves' The Batman.
And is a larger role in Part 3, apparently.
Oh, damn. Okay, I did not read that part. So he's come out and said that he's in the 3rd one. Ooh.
I'd like to. I would like. I know, everyone's like, oh yeah, I know we're sick of the Joker, but the last time we saw Joker and Batman together properly was Dark Knight. But I would be very intrigued for a character that we saw, obviously for the first time in the first one, has gone on his own journey. We'll see a bit more of him in Part 2. For him to be the main villain of Part 3, I think would be interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the cartoon, people in the comics, villains just keep coming back. Or it's a villain that's sort of working in the shadows while other villains are doing stuff, and then he's sort of gathering himself, and then maybe he'll get to a point where he's an actual challenge for the Caped Crusader. But we're a long way off from that, because 2026 is the Batman film. So we shall see.
We shall see if it's 2022, 2026. So then would we dare say, fucking 6 years in advance, nearly 2030, early release or the earliest for Batman Part 3? If it's
I would say, judging at the moment, because then it leaves room for more, spin-offs and stuff. If they do occur.
If we were to get say Batman Part 2 comes out 2026, and then depending on who or what's in that film, and we get a series in between. If we were to get another villain TV series lit, who would you like it to be?
If he's going to be a villain in anything, I wouldn't mind a Joker series, just to kind of wash the Joker films out of our mouths. But I would
maybe kill him off.
I'd also love a I'd love if Batman and Joker have this relationship, because all that has happened off screen and we never get to see the conflict actually between them. It just teases stuff that's already happened in universe, but we're just never going to go back to it. I'd love that, because it would piss off so many people. I don't know, because I really want Mr. Freeze to be the villain of the second one, because we're getting a lot of blue themes and blue imagery. It's meant to take place in winter. That would be quite interesting. To have Mr. Freeze and the Penguin sort of
and the opposite visually and cinematography, because Batman 2022 is very red, very dark. I mean, the films have to be dark. It's Batman, but like it's very red, very like ambery, quite hot, a warm-looking film. And then aesthetically, if the blue theme, then Mr. Freeze is very much the image that they want to go for, then it'll be a good contrast to go from like quite warm and hot looking to really cool, brooding and chilled.
And then like snowy rooftops and like, you know, the chill and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Be interesting, but I want Mr. Freeze in it in some capacity. I'd love if this universe had the ability to do a convincing Clayface. I'd love that. But the first Clayface, not acid Clayface, the second one. Like original Clayface would be nice.
Basil Carlo, I think that's his name. Basil Carlo, yeah.
Or Castle Barlow. We'll never know. He sounds like his own Corey, but someone that's not on Corey. Or Gary Barlow's massive son. There you go, internet. We've come back around.
Mike, that's your Photoshop.
Yeah. Or Gary Barlow's massive son as Mr. Freeze. So there's a teeny tiny Batman that comes up to his knee. We shall see. We shall see. Connor, where can the good people find us as we enter the semi-festive season before the real festive season?
Coliseum? Oh, not the Christmas Coliseum. No, nerdrivalcontact@gmail.com. You found us on YouTube, but guess what? We're on X, Facebook, Instagram, all your appropriate social medias here. TikTok, reactions, goodness stuff. Eventually when we get the whole streaming thing set up, we will be on some sort of gaming community. I imagine we will set up a future maybe Discord or something of that line.
I'd love to get the Patreon sorted for that kind of stuff next year.
Patreon as well. Insert future links here, perhaps in the future. But yeah, one area again we won't be, but also to kind of end the episode on. But also, as far as I'm aware, this news came out today, not as in time of recording. So it'll be 3 days old by the time this comes out. But we discussed Gladiator 2. We discussed a certain Colosseum. But there's a man in that film. Do you want to guess the cast member I'm referring to? That has said something where way down the future, it would be cool if it happened in the Marvel world. But do you want to guess? Do you want to have a guess? Yes, ding, ding, ding. So I'm guessing you may have read it or heard or seen the headline, or maybe I sent it to you. I don't know. But in the last couple of hours, Denzel and Marvel. What's the link, George?
Blade.
No, but I wouldn't say no to it. Denzel, straight from the horse's mouth, has supposedly come out and basically kind of confirmed that Mr. Ryan Coogler is writing him a role for Black Panther 3. Probably a villain. I don't know the villain. I don't know. I'm not knee deep in the Black Panther mythology. So for those comic book nerds in the comments, maybe sound off your Black Panther villains that isn't Killmonger. But yeah, Denzel has supposedly been right. He's basically been written a role for the sequel. Yeah. Sorry.
I feel like he's too good of an actor because a lot of people have said since seeing Sebastian Stan in Apprentice and Better Man, or what was that what it was called? Better Man?
Different man. Yeah,
a different man. Like they were like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Sebastian Stan is too good for these movies now. Like he's a better actor.
I don't hate that. Yeah.
Much like Andrew Garfield was too good for those Spider-Man films. But Denzel's one of the he's up there with Tom Cruise, like an old proper fucking movie star.
Acting. Yeah, legacy movie
star. I was even surprised he was in Gladiator. So being in anything else is like, I don't think it won't be distracting, and the fact that like he's just such a good actor that he'll just, if it's not a good script and not a good film, it will stick out because it will just be why have they stuck Denzel Washington in this piece of shit?
Yeah, well, I mean, we hope not, but
I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
we can find out when we've seen Gladiator this time next week. Should we do a Gladiator double bill?
Maybe.
We'll talk about the first one and then talk about the second one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't mind that. You in the audience, sound off. Would you like to see us talk about both Gladiators? That are Russell Crowe and Paul Mescal. I'm guessing Paul Mescal is the main gladiator of this film, isn't he?
Yes.
It's not going to be a stealth Joe Quinn, Emperor Quinn.
Stealth Joe Quinn. No one expects the stealth Joe Quinn. But yes, that is to come. Until then, good people, watch some Ethan Hunt. Go on an Easter egg hunt in the middle of November, and just watch some stuff. Watch some Disney Plus before it all gets too expensive and they take everything off. Just like anything.
While you're watching stuff, maybe have a Bond. If you're named James, then that's a bonus point. Maybe do some James Bond.
We'll see everyone next week. Thank you. Goodbye.